Hi, my name's Kimia. I'm a third year history student at the University of Warwick, and I'm going to be providing you some advice on how to make the transition from sixth form to uni just a bit easier. So, obviously, in first year, you're exposed to a completely new space. It might be difficult for you to kind of find people with similar interests to you. So, one thing I would recommend is joining societies, whether that's a sports society, a liberation society, a cultural society, just joining a space where you can make it your own and you can also find people with the same interests as you will really help you kind of make friends that will last for the rest of uni, for your lifetime, and will just make your uni experience so nice and provide a good respite away from your studies. Another thing would be to make a timetable. So obviously, when you first come to uni, you're exposed to all these deadlines, and you'll have to submit assignments within these deadlines. So making a timetable to like slot in your work, slot in time for you to relax, take a break, and slot in your actual deadline itself will be really helpful way to like organize your time. And also, if you are struggling with meeting these deadlines, there are welfare teams and student unions there to support you. So feel free to contact them if you get to uni and you're struggling with settling in.
Hi, I'm Sophie Busby, a former Ashmole student, and I studied psychology at the University of Bath. Reflecting back on my time at university, one thing I think I'd advise is to explore all the different courses that you can do, because sometimes there might be a course that you didn't even know existed, so it's worth doing your research to make sure that you find something that suits you, whether that be a subject that you studied during school or maybe something branching off of that you might be more interested in going forward. When you're at university, I think it's really important to put yourself out there because you've got to make the most of the opportunities that are given to you, whether that be making new friends with people on your course, joining societies, or just exploring what the campus has to offer. It's really important to give your all because you get back what you put in. One thing to consider when you go to university is that the people you meet within the first few weeks, you'll probably end up living with some of them for the next year. So think carefully about who it is you enjoy spending time with, what they might be like to live with. It tends to happen at speed, so it's just something to consider. Another useful tip before you join is maybe to look up something about budgeting and work out what you're going to do with your finances, because it seems fun and games, but when you get there it's really important to make sure that you have enough money to live on, to buy food, and do all these things that you might not have had to consider before you go to university. Lastly, I think something really important to consider is your study space. It can be really important to have somewhere that's separate from where you live or where you are most of the time, so that you have somewhere to go when you want to work and somewhere to come back to when you're not feeling like it so much. It's really important to take care of your mental health when you're at university and make sure you take breaks because it can be intense and you want to enjoy it as much as you're learning. Remember that going to university is a big thing in your life, but it's important to enjoy it and make the most out of your experience there. Have fun, do something you love, and learn lots.
Hi everyone, my name's Lily and I'm a third year social work student. I'm currently studying at Brighton University and I'm hoping to graduate and qualify as a social worker in June. When I was first applying for uni, I never really knew what to expect. I just knew that I wanted to live away from home for a bit and just carry on in education. So I moved into the on-site campus accommodation and I met all my flatmates and we had so much fun and just got to know each other. And I went on to live with them for the next 2 years, second and third year of uni, and I'm still really, really good friends with them now, even though we're in a lockdown. Uni gave me so much independence and it was a great experience and I would never change it. So if you're thinking of going, definitely apply.
Hi, I hope you're well. My name is Yari. I'm a student at Corpus Christi College at Oxford, and I was previously at Ashmole, and I'm just here to talk to you a little bit about the student perspective of going to Oxford. So, a little bit about me. Before I went to Ashmole, I went to Highlands. I then came to Ashmole, where I applied to go to Oxford. I didn't get in, so I took a gap year, and I worked for IBM. And there's some really great gap year schemes out there, and I'd recommend you look into them. I then reapplied to Oxford, and I got in. So I just want to start with some rumours that I want to dispel. The first is that if you don't get in, you're a failure. And that's not true. It's something I really felt when I didn't get in the first time. But loads of people don't get in and they don't go to uni, or they do get in the second time. And either way, they end up completely fine. You're not a failure if you don't get in. Second, if you don't go to private school, you won't fit in or make friends. Again, completely false. I don't have any real concept of which of my friends went to private school and which didn't. Doesn't really matter. Third is that getting in is the hard part. A-levels are difficult, but the step up of work which is required at Oxford University is massive. Just bear this in mind when you are applying, because it is difficult. Next, there's no nightlife. Again, this is completely false. I had loads of people ask me why I bothered going to Oxford when I could go to another university with better nightlife, and they were completely wrong. Oxford's got loads of pubs and clubs, and you have a great time. And the next is that's the be all and end all. Again, it's really not. Had I not got in, it wouldn't have really mattered in the very long run. I would have been completely fine, as are all other people who don't go to Oxford. Next, they only care about studying. Again, that's completely false. It's really important to be well-rounded when you apply, and especially on the other side when applying for jobs, it's important to maintain that and try and take part in loads of activities and societies. So a little bit about what to expect and some of the top tips. First, I would definitely give a heads up regarding imposter syndrome. So for those of you who don't know, imposter syndrome is just feeling like you don't belong somewhere, you're not good enough to go. And this is something that everyone feels at some point in their time at uni. I certainly have, and all of my friends have too. And just remember that you will face a drop in grades when you go to university, and that drop in grades will be very normal. You'll be used to getting 80 or 90% here at school. When you go to uni, this will be initially about 40 or 50% in your first term. One of my first pieces of work was low 40%, and I was really upset because I thought this was awful, but actually this is very normal, and your work will improve, its quality will get better. And another thing to remember is that even those who do feel or look like they're on top of things to you probably aren't. A lot of my friends in my first year I thought were on top of things, and actually people felt exactly the same way. And that's all out in the open now. We just laugh about it. So everyone will feel this way at some point. So it's very normal to if you do. Next is that there are a lot of work to do. Expect it, and you're going to have to learn how you best manage your time and how you best manage to get through it all, because there is a lot to do. A lot of students are told during school that A-level is the hardest thing they'll do, and I think for a lot of universities that is true. A lot of my friends at other unis don't do as much work as I have to do at Oxford. It's part and parcel of it, right? And all your friends will have lots of work, and you just need to get stuck in, and you'll look back at it and go, it was just a bit of work. But at the time, it does feel really difficult, and it is. And you'll have times where you regret going to uni and think, oh, I should have gone somewhere easier. And I've certainly felt that a lot of times, but just remember, you chose to study in an environment where they're very academically focused and pushing yourself academically. That's why you chose to study with the world's best academics, and that's how they got there too. So just retain this when you are applying. There is a lot of work to do. So if you want to go to a uni and just party and not do any work, Oxford isn't the place to do it, because you will struggle, because there is a lot of work to do. In my first year, I was doing about 3,000 words worth of essay a week, as well as the reading and lectures associated with that. This probably translates to about 30 hours worth of work a week in your first year, I'd say. And it does differ by subject, but that's my experience as a psychology student. But on the flip side, do expect to have lots of fun. I've had a great time at uni. There are loads of clubs and societies, and like I said before, there's a really good nightlife. So it is what you put into it. If you get your work out of the way, you can have a great time. Certainly during Freshers Week and all the way up to my end of my first year when I had to leave because of COVID, I had a really great time and I made some really, really good friends. If you look on the Oxford University Clubs and Societies website, there are some really great things you can do, from flying to shooting to gliding to just sports teams. And colleges have societies too you can join. So you will have a great time if you end up going. I wish you all the best of luck in your application process. And yeah, really do your best to work out what you want to do, and put all your effort in getting there, and I'm sure it'll pay off. Good luck.